Okay, so there's one other thing that I want to mention here. So the United States, the people are kind of, they always have been kind of thinking that, they're the best and everybody else wants to be like them and would like to be, on their team because theirs is the best team. They always feel like this. So there was this whole idea that the people in the United States had, and it was being spread in newspapers. So they would publish in these newspapers these ideas, and then all kinds of people in the United States started to believe this. And the idea was that, you know, these people living in British North America, in what is now Canada and what is now Ontario, this sort of area, these people don't actually even really want to be members of Great Britain. They would be so happy if the United States came and like took them over and liberated them from their oppressors, right? So they're convinced, these Americans are convinced that it's going to be an easy battle, that if they start to fight with Great Britain and start up a war, that Great Britain is going to be like, the soldiers are going to just be like, we don't want to fight you. We want to join you. Let's lay down our weapons and not fight. And so the Americans really think that it's going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be super easy. And they convince large populations of Americans to think this way. And that's why the Americans wanted to get into the war. So this is an interesting thing. The United States declares war on Britain. So the United States are the people that start the war, right? And what happens here is really a big mistake on the part of Great Britain. No, sorry, a big mistake on the part of the United States. So they declare war, but then they don't tell everybody. They don't do a good job spreading the word. Like today, if Trump declares war on somebody, he gets on his little phone and he tweets it. And the entire nation, coast to coast, hears about that within seconds. Everybody knows, right? This was not like this back in the year 1812. If you wanted to spread information, you had to like write a letter and then give it to a guy on a horse. And that guy on the horse is going to like ride to the next town. And then he arrives and he's all like tired and he's all sweaty. He's got this, I've got a letter here. Someone important's got to read the letter because people need to know the truth of what the letter's saying. And so it was really hard to like spread the word. So the United States declared war on Great Britain, but then didn't tell everyone else in the United States. So there are people in the United States who didn't even know they were at war. And like weeks are going by and they're at war and they don't even know it because word has not spread to them. But the British found out about this right away. And they were really, really, really smart. One thing that Great Britain had was they had some amazing leaders. They had two really, really good leaders. There was Sir Isaac Brock and Tecumseh. And Tecumseh is First Nations, and Sir Isaac Brock is he's right in the area of well, there's a huge statue to him in Niagara Falls. If you go to Niagara Falls, you'll see a big Sir Isaac Brock statue, and he fought here in Niagara Falls. And what these guys did was as soon as the Americans declared war, they attacked the Americans first. They jumped on the attack, even though they'd been declared war against them. They were the first ones to actually fight. So they gathered up as many troops as they could, both First Nation and white soldiers, and they invaded. They invaded the United States, and they're invading the United States, and the United States people don't even really know they're at war, right? So these troops had a number of very early successes in battle because the Americans weren't ready. Even though it was the Americans who decided to start the whole thing, they weren't ready. One in particular, the British forces came to Fort Detroit. And Fort Detroit is this huge stronghold of American soldiers. There's 2,500 soldiers. They've got cannons. They've got huge piles of gunpowder. They've got a ton of weapons. They've got huge, thick fortress walls. Okay, they're well defended. And the British only have 400 soldiers and 600 First Nations warriors. And they're like, how are we going to do this? Well, they had some really, really clever techniques here, what they did. Brock and Tecumseh told their soldiers, instead of having, 5 or 6 guys all sit around one campfire, each soldier is going to make his own campfire. So if you're looking at the fires and it's nighttime and all you're seeing are these fires, and the fires are spread far and wide, you think there's a lot of people fighting against you, but really there aren't as many as you think because they're sharing the fires.